Hello, here is how you add Statcounter to Blogger and also how you can have analytics on your Wix site. Statcounter works on my Wix site on this theme, but has not worked, there it is right there. It has not worked on other themes, but you can still use a visitor, excuse me, wrong thing. You can still use visitor analytics. You see it put it, this is another Wix site that I have, it put it here. There are other ways to do it besides Statcounter. So either Statcounter for both, if you can get them to work like I did, or just use the onboard one that you use right here with Add Apps on the Wix site. Okay, so here we go. Here on my blogger, my free blogger, is my Statcounter. When I click View Stats, I have it working so that it's not logged into Statcounter, but you can see my stats. This just simple thing. This works well for clients, for people who you want them to hire you so they know how many people visit your website. So when I log in, I think it will be easy. You can see I have a number of Statcounter. It's been free for 10 years. I've used it, probably longer than that. Statcounter is just much easier to read than Google Analytics. So this is a better place to start when you're looking at analytics. I haven't had very many views here, but it's just so much easier to understand. So it says recent activity. Here are your options. It's quite simple. So visitor activity, let's look at that first. Who are those 3 people? It's probably me that went there. There they are right there. And no thanks. They would like you to pay for it too. So that's what it was asking. So Amazon, I don't know who these people are. Visitor paths. Where did they come from? How did they get to my site? How did they leave? So the coming into my site and then the leave came from what did they do, their exit link when they left, where were they on the page. Just very simple to look at. This is the difference between Statcounter and analytics. If you're going into business, you don't have a choice. You have to look at this. But here is the same blogger, all website data, and it's all words that we're not used to here. It's just so much more difficult to understand it. You have to know Google Analytics to be able to read this. It just is not the same, as you can see it, but because it's much more robust, it's a much better tracker. Statcounter is just so much simpler for a college newspaper website that I have been running for all this time. So it's much easier for students to understand this as opposed to this. So you get a Statcounter account, it's completely free. And then you go to your blogger. You can see here there's built-in stats here as well, but you need to put your Google tracking ID here. I'll show you where mine is. You need this as well. We'll talk about that in just a second. You need a tracking ID for Google Analytics, which is mine is right there. So I do layout, and then I go down here, and this is again in Blogger, not Wix. And I add a gadget, and it will allow me to add an HTML Java right there, an HTML box. And you just click it, and you go over to Statcounter and go over to Statcounter, and it says add project. So you add project. It's easy. It's so simple. You go in and it gives you do you want a counter or a button? And I think you should have a tracker so that you can see that it's available. And then you add project, and it will give you a code. You plug the code in here to I lost my gadget. There it is right there. You plug it in here. You just paste it right in there and save, and then you're done. If you asked for a tracker, then it will end up right there. That's how you do it with this. With Wix, it's the same process. You still use the HTML. See, that's an HTML box. It has not worked with certain themes. Several people have not been able to do it. Absolutely fine. That's no problem. Because you can go here in Wix. I'm in the editing portion of Wix. You go into the Wix app market right here and scroll down, and it says Analyze Traffic. So you click that, and I have installed this one, this Visitor Analytics, and when you add it, it pops up right here, and it says only, it's again, it's an HTML code. Only you can see this. You can't see this on the front of my website. And so then this does the stats, and you do the stats in the dashboard over here in I have both the dashboard open and my editing for my Wix site. But you may want a tracker. You may want a counter down there as well. And so all you do, sorry, this website is where I mess things up for the web design class. So all you do is you go back to add apps, scroll down again to analyze traffic, and then right here it says Wix counter or hit counter. Either one. So I'll just put both of them on there. Add to site. Just some of them charge. The other one's trying to charge me. So there's my hit counter. Now I have 2 hit counters at the bottom of my site. Either one is going to be connected to this traffic overview, so that's completely fine. It says I have 1 visit. So it helps to put this down here. Not all websites want this. Not everybody wants you to see that you don't have very many visitors. So it's kind of a personal preference, but I just wanted you to know that it's an option, and lots of sites have this.